Hello there! The goal of this video is to show how to extend Vaati Manip into getting Vaati 3 to do a quick arm plunge, which I am going to call a fast arm, basically. So the main difficulty of this manipulation is not really getting to Vaati 3 and actually doing the things in between. It's more getting consistent endings of Vaati 2. This is the most difficult part of the manip. How this manip is going to go is we are going to do our best to finish Vaati 2 as consistently as possible, and after exiting Vaati 2 arena, we are going to check the dust from our boots in order to check the state of the RNG. This is going to give us information on the current RNG state. And after the escape with Zelda, we are going to do one more check after doing some movements in order to pinpoint the exact RNG we are situated at. Okay, so here is how this manip is going to unfold. Right now I'm in the menu before doing the third phase of Semirare's variants of Vaati manip. I'm going to make my clones then slash Vaati 2 as fast as possible in order to end on a consistent RNG value almost every time. So here is how it's going to go. Slash as early as possible. Make my clones. Make sure that while charging, my sword does not connect with Vaati 2 eyes. Mash through the text. And then end up on Zelda altar room, basically. So this is my first opportunity to check the state of the RNG. Just pretend I do not have it on screen because of my Lua script, and I'm going to check it with boot dusts. So the dusts that I'm going to create are going to appear on either the left side of Link, the right side, or the middle. And some additional information that you're going to notice maybe is that some of the dusts are going to be in front of Link and some of the dusts are going to be hidden behind, at least partially behind Link's body. So here is the first boot tap. This is right. This is the second. This is like middle-ish. And the third is going to be right once again. So this is very obviously a right, middle, right pattern, which is exactly corresponding to the second pattern of our Semirare table, which tells us that we are in the first tier of movement and that we need to correct the RNG by 3. But of course, right now we are not going to do or to take account of any of that. We are just going to do the usual movement, which is dash to Zelda, free her, make sure to do only one slash in order to do this. This is like the most important part. This is not really difficult, but you do have to mash quickly through this SLO text to get through the entire escape. And then once we are here, basically the escape is a sort of 50-50 between the escape advancing RNG by some amount or some amount plus 2, right? But we are going to check that later. Right now we are going to do the needed corrections to the RNG. So since we got the right, middle, right pattern, according to the table, this is plus 3, okay? So I'm going to do 3 slashes, and then I'm going to do the tier 1 movement. So, as a notice, the tier 1 and tier 2 movement are almost exactly the same, and they just differ by one specific point where one does a boot dash and the other one does does 2 rolls instead. So the movement looks like this. I do a roll, I do a boot dash to the door, go inside, do 2 rolls, another boot dash to this door, and then since I'm in the tier 1, I do a boot dash through this door instead of 2 rolls in and out. So boot dash, get to this staircase, boot dash again, get to this door, and here, since we still have to differentiate between the escape 50-50, we have to listen to Link's roll sound, okay? So this is either going to be a loud roll sound, which is going to sound like a hua, or a softer huh roll sound. And just doing a bunch of rolls, you are going to be able to differentiate between them. It's not that complicated, as long as you have the game audio feed on your headphones, of course. So let's listen. So this is a huh, which is the softer one, which means we are not going to correct anything. So instead of correcting and doing 2 slashes here, we are just going to boot dash to Vaati 3 and begin the fights. So mash through this text, begin the Vaati 3 fight, and we are going to sit on the bottom of the arena, let Vaati 3 come to us, and when he stops, we are going to boot dash to the portal and let him do, okay, missed his fast arm attack and go inside. Okay, so here I am on the menu right before the 3rd phase of Myth variant of Vaati 2 Manip. So the movement is going to be a little different, of course, and we are obviously going to look at a different table of the boot dust patterns, and so this is going to be looking a little like this. So yeah, make sure when you spin and when you do your final attack not to hit any spikes, because these have drop tables and these are going to affect the RNG outcome at the end. So here we are on the altar again, and we are going to be looking at our boot dusts again. So middle, right, and right. Middle, right, and right should be the fifth one from tier 2. So we are going to boot dash 2, Zelda, slash, and of course you can absolutely look at the charts while you're mindlessly mashing through this cutscene. This is made so that you can actually do that, because this cutscene is actually so long, you have all the time in the world to actually do that. So the correction needed there was dust +1, of course. So we do that, dust 1, then we do the usual, roll, dash, and go into the staircase, and here our movement is going to be a little different. We are going to do 4 rolls instead, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we are in tier 2, we don't do a boot dash here, we just do a roll inside and outside. We boot dash, and then stopping here, this is the moment that we are going to differentiate between the escape 50-50, and this is not going to be by listening to an audio cue. We are going to be looking at our boot dust once again, because we have to correct and advance RNG a little bit. And so this is going to be either left side of Link or right side. And if it's left side, we have to correct by 2 slashes, and if it's right side, we instead can just do nothing. So we do a boot dust. This is left side, so that we know when we go inside the sanctuary after rolling into the door, we can actually do 2 slashes and then just boot dash to Vaati. Mash through the texts and do the exact same as the Semirare variants. We are just going to be sitting on the bottom of the arena, wait for Vaati to come down, and then go on the portal. And that's it. Okay, so to recap, basically the way this manip works is as long as you're consistent enough to end your preferred version of Vaati 2's manip on 15, I believe, different possible values. You can also definitely add more values to my tables that I'm going to display on screen right there. But as long as you're actually consistent enough to end Vaati 2 on these numbers of RNG values, you should be getting like the right dust patterns in order to know where you are exactly in the RNG. Identify it using that table while you're mashing through the escape with Zelda, and then after the escape there's basically a 50-50 on whether you're +0 on your estimated RNG or you're actually +2 on your estimated RNG. And afterwards you do one of the 2 tiers of movement that I described in my tables, and you look or listen to the cue at the very end in order to differentiate between what part of the 50-50 you actually got, right? So some details to take note of are Eslo tends to advance RNG more than he should if you don't actually mash quickly enough. Spikes in Vaati 2 Arena have drop tables because they drop randomly hearts or arrows, and so they do affect RNG, so make sure you actually never slash them if you want to have the tiniest bit of consistency. What else? Escape, as I said before, I'm going to repeat it. It's a 50-50 between two possible values. This is like the actual sort of mystery part of Vaati 3 Manip. And what else is there? I think that covers everything. And so if you watched until this point, thank you very much for watching and take care. Bye bye.